Welcome to Local NYC Trending Videos. We're bringing you the latest news, reviews, and engaging content. 5 most brutal deaths in the MCU. Behind the comedy and overall vibrant personalities scattered all across the MCU, there are several incredibly serious and even horrifying scenes that will remain in our minds forever. Deaths are not always pretty, peaceful, or heroic in the MCU. The MCU definitely doesn't mess around, and for this list, we'll be taking a quick look at the most brutal and downright ruthless deaths in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Spoilers are ahead if you didn't expect them when you click this video. Obadiah Stain. What better way to start this list than with none other than the first villain to ever be featured in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? If you don't remember who he is, Obadiah Stain was the one who cemented his villain status on the box office screen by removing Tony Stark's arc reactor during a bout with Tony. Funnily enough, the same tech will lead to his brutal demise. During the scene's climactic battle, Stain and Stark find themselves standing on a giant arc reactor. After asking Pepper Potts to overload the arc reactor, Stain gets jolted by thousands of volts of electricity before falling to his demise, which leads to a subsequent explosion. Geez, talk about overkill. Hela. The goddess of death and destruction, Hela causes chaos wherever she goes. Discord is her best friend, and creating a massacre on any battlefield that she's on is basically her forte. Considered to be one of the strongest adversaries that Thor has ever had a bout with, and literally being the person who shattered Mjolnir, she should face her demise in a completely over-the-top way. After gauging how powerful Hela truly is, Thor concludes that the only way to beat Hela is through the destruction of Asgard. Thus, the fire giant Surtur enters the stage. Hela tries to stop the giant, but the giant molten blade eviscerates her. If you think she survived this, Asgard also blew up just a few minutes later. Maria and Howard Stark. The early demise of Tony Stark's parents has always been shrouded in mystery. Sure, we knew they died pretty early on in Tony's life, but we never really saw how they died. This was until we saw Captain America: Civil War. During the climax of the movie, Zemo shows Iron Man and Captain America the fate of the couple as a brainwashed Winter Soldier hunts them down to retrieve a recreation of the Super Soldier Serum. After running the couple's car off the road, Howard is brutally bashed in the head multiple times before Maria is slowly strangled to death. This scene hurt even more because Captain America knew but never told Tony the truth of what happened. Gamora and Black Widow. Where, who, and why are Gamora and Black Widow on this list? During Avengers Infinity War, Thanos discovers that he can only get the Soul Stone if he sacrifices something he loves. The slow and painful realization starts to seep in, and we realize that the sacrifice for the Soul Stone is none other than Gamora. She's slowly dragged across a cliff as she desperately fights to escape the grip of the Mad Titan. But her efforts are in vain as she falls off of the cliff and dies a brutal death. Black Widow is on this list because she dies the same brutal death, making the ultimate sacrifice for the sake of the greater good. The Illuminati. Everyone saw this coming. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was one of the most brutal and downright disturbing movies in the entirety of the MCU. Every death in this movie could make it to the top 5 of this list, but no death was more brutal than the eradication of the Illuminati. The Illuminati is a lineup of the Earth's most powerful superheroes, so you'd think they would easily take care of the Scarlet Witch. However, they start dropping like flies in the most brutal ways possible. The most brutal and memorable death is when Black Bolt's powerful voice turns against him when Wanda makes his mouth vanish. Black Bolt's horrified scream then blew up his head, a truly ruthless end for the character. The MCU is not just for kids. There are loads more brutal deaths in the MCU. What's your favorite featured in this list? Tell us in the comment section below. Subscribe to our channel, like, and share this video. Hit the bell button for more great content.